Hi, everybody. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I want to see if I see people. How cool. We tried a new software, so please bear with me. It's a little, I'm a little technically impaired, and trying to do this has been quite the experience, but it's going to be amazing. So thank you for bearing with me. So I just want to welcome everybody and thank you so much for coming and being part of this. I'm thrilled that you're here, and it's just going to be such an amazing experience. So I am going to, you've got a little chat box to the right, so please feel free to say hi. Do you see the little box that says chat? One of the problems with this new software that we're using is I can't hear you guys. We're going to have to chat in the chat box, which I'm not real thrilled about, but it was the last boot camp that I did. One of the feedback that I got was, hey, we want to see some slides or get some visuals, because as nurses we're really visual people, and we want to see, we're used to examining our patients and assessing and evaluating and all that stuff. So we're very visual. So I do have a little PowerPoint if I can figure out how to get it up. And then I will also come back on as I share some stuff with you. So you guys are probably wondering what you got yourself into. So I'm going to share that with you. If I can figure this out. Aha, okay, we're getting there. Can everybody hear me? Is everything going okay? Feel free to chat in the box and let me know. Say hi. Introduce yourself to everybody, because we're in for a ride this through this program. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so here's the PowerPoint, and hopefully you can see that. Can you guys chat and let me know you can see it and everything's okay? Put in the chat box. Maybe that part's not working. Let me see. Okay, all right. If somebody could just let me know they can hear me and everything's okay, I'd really appreciate it. Just chat, put in the chat box to the right. It says chat. Just pop in there and say I can hear you. Or if somebody will text me at 317-626-6157. I'd appreciate it, 317-626-6157, because I really want to be talking to you guys and not talking to air. I actually typed in the chat box, can you hear me? Do you see that on the right of your screen? Okay, well, I'm just gonna proceed, although there's one part that's really interactive tonight, so I'd love to hear from you guys. So, somebody said they can see and hear me. Yay! Okay, awesome. All right, so we're going to officially get started. Hi, everybody, and welcome. It's Lori Brown. I'm a nurse attorney with Empowered Nurses, and I'm so excited and grateful that you're here tonight. And I'm just really humbled that, oh, thanks, Maria. I got your text too. That you have chosen to go on this journey with me. You've all truly inspired me, and you're all really exceptional, because you guys have stepped up and said, hey, wait a minute, I'm not happy with the status quo. I want things to be different in my profession. I want things to be different in my career, and I'm going to learn the tools to make that happen. So my hat's off to you. This is going to be a really fun, amazing way to learn. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself and how I learned about this program, and I want to share with you. I'm going to be very vulnerable, and you're going to hear and see things about me, and you're going to hear about my skeletons from my past that may surprise you, but I want you to know where I'm coming from, and I want you to know why this is important to me, and why how I learned these tools and what happened to me, so that you can get the same benefits as well. So speaking of benefits, it's really important to me that I deliver what you came here to get. So trying to advance my slide here. So did you know that only 39% of nurses are satisfied in their career? And 1 of 3 nurses have considered quitting their jobs. So can you imagine if a third of the workforce quit, a third of the nurses, or 60% of the nurses who are unsatisfied left? We'd have no nurses. But what's sadder is, why are all these nurses working that are unhappy in their jobs when they can be happy? So that's what we're going to talk about through this boot camp, is a way for you to rediscover that joy, freedom, and passion. And I don't know how many of you listen to my promo talk about the gifts, but we're going to go really in depth on that. And the whole purpose of this boot camp is for you to have an opportunity to try these different techniques and share about them. So we have it's really important to me that I be in integrity, and when I say that you're going to learn a tool that will completely change the way you look at your practice, I mean it, and I want you to hold me accountable to all this. I'm going to teach you how to create a high-performance team with your coworkers, so you don't need to be in management to do that. And we're going to do that exercise tonight. We're going to talk about how to improve the one thing that's bothering you by creating win-win situations, how to make change without being seen as a squeaky wheel, and how to effectively deal with time pressures at work. I'm going to teach you the ability to be focused and follow through with your work assignments, so you get everything done that needs to get done. And this way you won't be up at night wondering, hey, did I do this? Because I know when I was in nursing, that happened to me all the time. And you're going to also learn how to make change while finding out how to comply with the laws that affect your license. Because I always joke that when you take your driver's license test, the whole test is on the rules of the road. But when you take your nursing license test, it has nothing to do with the laws that you're required to follow in order to be a nurse. So I want to make sure that you get that as well. So we are a community here. We're a community of like-minded nurses. Now, in the real world, when you have an awful day and you come home and you're like so stressed out and you have nobody to talk to, because in the real world, nobody understands us. They don't understand that you had a patient code on you and 2 others had a change in condition and had to go to ICU, or whatever the circumstances are. They don't get it. They don't know you had to help with a central line insertion, and another one needed an NG, and all the things that we have to do. They don't get it. But here, everybody gets it. Everybody here is a nurse, and we all come from different walks of life. We have everything from LPN, RN to nurse practitioners on this call, because I think that if you're a nurse, you're a nurse, you're a nurse, and we're all dealing with the same situations, no matter what type of nurse you are, and no matter what environment that you're working in. So we're all here together, and we're all here to support each other, and we're all going to be empowered nurses. So let me share with you a couple my intentions for this boot camp. My intention is to create a safe place for everybody to talk, and to that it be very confidential and supporting. I don't want this to turn into a complaint session, because I'm going to teach you tools to help you just have a different outlook on things. But if you are having a bad day, or you do need a solution to a problem, we have a private nurses lounge, which you will be invited to tomorrow by an invitation in your email. So please be sure to come to our private nurses lounge and introduce yourself, and throughout, and post in there. It's private, it's confidential, it's not like Facebook where everybody can see it. This is just our group, and actually our graduates from from other boot camps. So you'll be with other people as well, but they all get it. They're all like-minded. And I think that is the best place, because we are all there to share and learn and grow, because these tools, we're programmed differently than we're programmed to be, we learn how to be unhappy and not fulfilled and to seek environments that don't support us. And we're going to change all that programming. It's all at our subconscious level, but that's what this boot camp is going to do. We're going to change that program and reprogram ourselves so that we can create a nursing environment that we love. And I also want to inspire you so that you carry the message out to other nurses and inspire them so that they look at things differently and can be more fulfilled and happy. Life's too short. I got one shot in this life, and I only have so many hours a day and so many minutes and so many breaths and so many seconds, and I want to spend those to the fullest. And I don't want to be in a situation or a job that's not fulfilling me. And I've been there, and I will share all that with you too. Okay, and then some housekeeping. Like I said, we're going to have the private nurses lounge, where I really want, the more you put into this, the more you're going to get out of this. So share, share, share. Share your successes. If you say, hey, I have this difficult situation, how should I deal with it? Get support. We're here for you. Again, there's no place else in this world that we can share as openly and as without judgment as in this space, and that's what I intend to create. Again, we're programmed differently, and we're going to be reprogramming ourselves. So this doesn't come natural, so it's going to take some practice on your part to learn these tools and to integrate them. And again, that's why the boot camp's 4 weeks, so that you really can practice and integrate these tools. And I already talked about sharing your success. So I always joke that I practice law like I practice nursing, and that is with care and love. And so I don't know any other way to do it. That's just who I am. So the same is true in this boot camp. I want you guys to feel totally supported, which means that you have access to me 24/7. Call, email, well, you know what I mean, 24/7. But if you want to make an appointment with me, for those of you who don't know me, let's chat. Let's get to know each other. I want to know what your concerns are. I want to know what you want to get out of this boot camp. I am here for you. For the next 4 weeks, I'm totally here for you. So let me hear from you. Now, Amanda is my client happiness manager, and she's phenomenal. Any of you who've had interactions with Amanda know she's wonderful. So Amanda's whole job is to keep you guys happy. And so feel free to email her at amanda@brownlaw1.com. Say, hey, I need to talk to Lori. What time's good? Whatever you need. We're totally here for you to make this experience amazing. I am fully committed to having you guys walk out of this experience just having your life look so different, and you just being so much happier and fulfilled. Another person on my team is Darby. Darby Buford, and she is my virtual assistant. She's my techie. She was the one that I was calling freaking out saying, Google Hangout's not working. Why isn't this webinar program working? How come they can't see me? How come I can't see them? But obviously she got it to work, and you may be hearing from her as well. But again, I'm supported, and I want you guys to be supported. So call, email. Let me know you're out there. Let me know how you're doing. I want to know what your experience is. Are you getting what you need out of that? I'll tweak it. I'll do whatever. I'll work with you a little bit individually. Again, I want you to get the most out of this experience. Okay? So this, before we get into creating an environment we love, I want to go back a little bit and tell you how I learned these tools. And for this part, I'm going to put the camera on. So let's see if I could switch over and do that. Hey, okay, that worked. Okay. All right. So, oh gosh, I'm looking at myself, and I got to tell my story. But all right. For those of you who heard my story in the preview call, this is going to be different. As you guys know, I've been a registered nurse. I've actively practiced for 12 years. My most recent position was as a unit manager of a neurosurgical unit here in Indianapolis. And then I went into law school. And when I went to law school, I was working as a unit manager. I had 24-hour responsibility. I worked from 7 to 3:30, studied from 3:30 to 5:30, went to school from 5:30 to 7:30, and studied and went to bed and got up and repeated it the next day. And on the weekends, I studied a lot as well. And it was a Friday night. I got called into work, and they said, "Lori, there's nobody who can come in. You've got to come in. We've tried everybody. There is absolutely no one." And I thought, "Oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm not safe." I was actually at a going away party for a friend. I was actually doing something fun for once, and so I did go in, and my staff was amazing. They totally supported me. I told them, "I'm concerned. I don't feel like I'm safe." And they're like, "Just, do what you can. Help us out." And I'm like, I can do that. So I did make it through the shift, obviously, but I knew that I couldn't keep this up, this 24-hour responsibility here, plus law school, studying. So I resigned, and I worked agency. And it was a really fantastic opportunity for me because I got to work staff in all different kinds of units. I worked in like a pediatric long-term care ventilator unit. I worked home health care, organ transplant, bone marrow, you name it. So it was really great experience. And what I didn't realize at the time, but as I was putting this program together, I realized that I had seen all kinds of different units. I had seen the dysfunctional units, the healthy units, and then I got to see what made them healthy and what made them dysfunctional. And again, that's some of the stuff I'm going to be sharing with you today. So, graduated law school, started working for this law firm, and I made partner. I was representing hospitals and nurses throughout the state of Indiana, hospitals and doctors, sorry, throughout the state of Indiana doing medical malpractice defense, and I was also doing some nursing board matters as well. And I did that for about 8 years, and the carrier, which was my largest client, was going under, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I was pregnant with my second child. I was a single mom, and I thought, my life is over. I'm the sole source of my kids. I'm going to have a baby. Who wants a pregnant attorney? Pregnant attorneys don't equal billable hours. So I did lose my job and thought my life was over. And I know some of you are there or have been there where you lost a job in nursing that you've been there forever. But the good news is that on the other side, and if you're in this program now, it's great because on the other side of this, there is something wonderful waiting for you. And I can't wait for you to learn these tools to have that. So I started out my own business. I wanted to be home for the kids instead of running around the state trying cases. And for about 5 years, my business was just okay. It was okay. That's all I can say. Nothing great, just okay. And then I was in a relationship that I was not happy and was pregnant again with my miracle baby. Can't believe I'm sharing all this. Yeah, I didn't think I could get pregnant. But it's so funny how I always wanted a girl, and at the age of 42, I got my girl. So it's amazing, wonderful blessing. So it's just funny how life works out. So I'm a walking dead mom. I love my daughter to pieces, love my two sons, but I just didn't, and I was in a relationship that was awful, and I felt like I was like this walking to-do list. You guys would probably feel like that at work, oh, I got this patient, this patient, this patient, I've got to do this, 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 and this. And you miss out on all the joy, all the firsts, all the fun that happens. So I was, 3 people had said they had been to this workshop that changed their life. And I'm like, Oh, yeah, right, sure. But you know, the rule of threes, when you hear something 3 times, you think, I'll give it a try. So I did. I went to this workshop and I was sitting in the back of the room with my arms crossed saying, yeah, right, you're going to change my life. And lo and behold, yes, at the end of this program, everything changed. My um, Actually, I remember coming home and I got 9 checks in the mail. Clients came out of the woodworks. It was just amazing. I don't just by attending this program. So, you know, when you say yes, I'm ready for something to be different, everything's out there to help you. So I did. So after that point, you know, life just got so much better. I just now have the job of my dreams. I love helping the nurses that I get to help. I love being here with you guys tonight to make a difference for you. Having this boot camp is just one of the best things that I get to do because I love representing nurses before the board, but I get them through a difficult situation. I don't get to make a permanent impact in their life like this class will do for you. So I'm ecstatic to bring this to you. So that's enough about my story. But again, you've got to really incorporate the tools in your life. So the first thing we're going to do today is talk about creating a high-performance team. Now, I think I've got to look at my notes here. But one of the things by creating a high-performance team, we are in a very high-tech, high-touch job. Now, our job seems to be taking over with the high tech. For example, like the EICUs where they have the cameras looking at the patients and the cameras and people watching more than one person, like somebody behind the screens watching more than one patient in the ICU. But that's missing out on the touch. And the thing that makes nursing so great is the touch, being able to interact with the patients and help them get better. So there are other high-tech jobs that whose lives hang in the limb. For example, like with us, obviously, if we didn't do our job, somebody might lose their life, which is very scary. But there are other high-tech jobs that don't affect life and limb because they don't have the issues that we have in nursing. For example, the nursing home is the second heavily regulated area, second only to nuclear refineries. But you don't see nuclear explosions all the time, but yet you see errors in nursing. So why is that? Another high-tech area where we don't see fatalities is the airline industry. Rarely do we hear of an airline problem. And so why is it? Why is the nuclear medicine or the nuclear regulatory facility as well as the airlines, what do they do things differently that we aren't doing in nursing so that they're fulfilled, happy doing their jobs, and they don't have the life and limb issues that we have in nursing? So I want to do an exercise with you, and I really need your help. So I need some chatting here. Can somebody try and chat something in here so I can see that you're here? I know you're here. Do you guys see the chat box there? That's not working. Because otherwise I'm going to have to do this exercise myself and it won't be as fun. All right. So let's see. Let's see if I could do a Q&A. Nope. Okay. All right. So basically, this exercise is more fun if you participate, but let's roll with the punches. If you had to think of a high-tech team, like a high-performance team that you've been on, now maybe it has been like a sports team in high school, or even a nursing unit that you really loved, or a debate team, a cheerleading squad, if you were in a play, anything. what made that team high performing? What were the characteristics? Can you chat in there? All right. So some characteristics of high-performing teams are... Oh, good. Hi, Jennifer and Maria. I'm glad you're still on. Maria, can you try texting in there in the group chat? I don't know why this isn't working. Oh, and Melinda's still on. Great. Maria, if you can see the people, can you text me what they're saying in terms of what are some characteristics of high-performance teams? Oh, hey, Whitney, you're on too. Awesome. And Melissa, cool. Okay. I wish I could get some participation here. So I bet some of you are thinking, well, it's not possible to create a high-performance nursing unit. So that's what I want to share with you in this exercise. So I'm going to just name some characteristics, and I hope that you're the ones that you're thinking of. So the first one is teamwork. High-performing teams work together by having teamwork. Another one is mutual respect. So high-performing teams have characteristics of mutual respect. High-performing teams have characteristics of honesty. High-performing teams are in integrity. That's another characteristic of high-performing teams. Oh, similar vision. Thanks, Maria. Great. How about like non-judgmental, supportive, caring? Any other characteristics that you can think of? Common goals. Thanks, Maria. She's texting me. Feel free to text me too. Oh, excitement, interest. Awesome. Okay. Common goal, similar vision. Thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, my phone will improvise, right? My cell is 317-626-6157. And thanks, you guys, for your support and rolling with this. I really appreciate it. Supportive, caring, fair-mindedness. That's another characteristic of high-performing teams. Consistencies. That everybody acts consistent with the policies and the norms. Melinda, okay, excitement, interest, crowd cheers, awesome. Okay, positive reinforcement, empathy, safety. Those are all characteristics of high-performing teams. We're working together, thank you. Oh, awesome. Okay. So which of those characteristics, we'll go through them one by one again, which of those characteristics are a mindset, something that, and a mindset is something that you will, that you think about, that you don't learn it, it's just kind of an attitude. And a skill set is something you learn, like starting an IV. That's a skill that you actually have to learn. Taking a blood pressure, that's a skill you have to learn. So which one of these characteristics are mindset, which ones are skill set, and which ones are both? Okay? So first we have teamwork. Hey, maybe I could do a poll. Maybe not. All right, I'm going to have to give up on this. Hopefully we'll get this fixed by the time that next week comes around. Yeah, my thing doesn't look the same either. Okay. Hey, I can even draw on this. No. Oh, well. This is... All right. So as I was saying, so which of the things are mindset, skill set, or both? So the first characteristic we talked about was teamwork, and I'm trying to go Whitney says, communication and team players. Thank you. Okay. So is teamwork a mindset, a skill set, or both? Can you teach people how to be a team member? Or is that a mindset kind of thing? Or is it both? So I think it's a mindset thing. It could be, whoops. Well, that's interesting how that works. Let's not use this again as I'm playing around. Okay, so mutual respect. Is that something that can be learned? Is that a mindset, a skill set, or both? Okay, so it's a mindset. You can't teach somebody how to have mutual respect. It's a characteristic. It's an attitude. Okay, so I'm going to go back through some of these others. Common goals. Is that a mindset, a skill set, or both? You can't learn goals, can you? So that's a mindset. Similar vision. Is that something that can be taught, or is that something that has to be bought into, like a mindset, like an attitude? So that would be a mindset, or both as well. It's really more fun when you get to play along. Okay, teamwork. Is that a mindset, a skill set, or both? You know, that's really, to teach somebody to work as a team is probably both. Both a skill set to learn to work as a team and a mindset. Honesty, is that a mindset or a skill set, or both? It's mindset. You can't teach somebody to be honest. Either they choose to be honest or not. Non-judgmental. Is that a mindset, a skill set, or both? That's another one that would be a mindset. So I hope you're seeing the trend here. The trend is that everything that makes a high-performance team is actually a mindset. It is characteristics that people need to adapt in order for there to be a high-performing team. So I'm sure you can imagine working in a place where people are honest with each other. They work together as a team. They're consistent. They communicate. They're fair-minded. They're professional. They accept. There's a lot of acceptance. I'm also going to look see what else you guys wrote. They communicate. There's an excitement. There's interest. There's similar vision. You can imagine that if you worked in an environment where everybody has that mindset, that would be a really cool place to work. Because right now we're working in places where there's, oh thanks, dedication, Brenda, that's a great one, thank you. Dedication, you can't teach dedication, that's a mindset. So thank you. So you can imagine if you're working in a place where everybody has the mindset of all of these characteristics that we talked about, what a cool place that would be to work. And how difficult is it to have everybody adopt these mindset, these core values? Even in my son's school, they have core values. No put-downs, put-ups, respect, trust. They have core values that all the students live by, and they get awards based on these characteristics. So again, it's not that hard to have an environment, that people can succeed, and it's just shifting the mindset. So I wish I can hear your guys thinking here. If you want to text me what you're getting from this, I'd love to hear. I guess, like I said, one of the drawbacks to this technology is I can't really see you or hear you or talk to you, but you get to see me. So hopefully we'll have the bugs worked out next week. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. And so I hope you see now that it's possible that we can have an environment that we love to work if everybody is on the same mindset in terms of creating a high-performance team. And it's sort of like the ripple effect. If you have this mindset, it's kind of infectious. And it only takes one of you to have this mindset and create a change with everybody. And that's by being an example and creating a context. So a context is, excuse me, a context is an environment. Okay, we live in, we can't see the air. That's our environment. It's a container. So, like, for example, a desert is another environment. And flowers can't live in the desert. So if you create a context where only people with this type of mindset survive, then that's what's going to grow and bloom in that environment. But unfortunately, the environments that we're creating in nursing are not conducive to nurses growing and blooming. And that's got to change. And that's why I'm so excited that you guys are my warriors to carry this message out in the world. Because it's not that hard. We do it all the time outside of nursing. But for some reason, when we get into nursing environments, it turns into gossip, competition, I'm right, you're wrong, one-upsmanship. And again, that has to change. That's not serving anybody. And you guys get to be the leaders to do that. So, now we're going to go talk about the tools that we're going to learn as the basis for this boot camp. And they are called the gifts. And so when I learned the system, I was just amazed. It was the coolest thing that I've ever learned. And I have a question here. Thanks, Juliana. She asked, what happens when the team doesn't value your dedication? Well, that's a really interesting question. And everybody needs to be on board with this. But you can have this mindset, and then again, people will slowly shift and change and grow and develop that mindset. But sometimes there's a thing as a square peg in a round hole. And if you don't fit, if it's not a good environment for you, then it's time to leave. Now, as nurses, we are so dedicated and loyal. And we don't want to leave because we're afraid we're going to leave our patients, and who's going to take care of them? Nobody can take care of them like you. And I'm going to go off on a tangent here. But unfortunately, that's if there's a red flag, if things are not changing and you're not fitting in, and people are doing things that you're not comfortable with, you've got to leave, because otherwise you have a choice, and a lot of people don't think they have a choice. But once you start locking yourself in to not having a choice, you're giving up your freedom. And I've seen too many nurses who work crazy hours. Sorry about the phone here. Trying crazy overtime, trying to because they're worried about their patients, and who else is going to take care of them if they don't. If they can't do this work. Like, for example, in a rural area, we had one nurse who worked 172 hours in a 2-week pay period because she lived in a rural area. She was the only RN who was going to take care of these patients. So she worked, and she did make a mistake. And that mistake cost her job and criminal charges. So if it's not a good fit, one answer is to leave, but the other answer is to step up and be the leader you want to be. And you can make things different. You can, we're going to learn in this program how to communicate with, in a way that people get what you're saying, and that you create win-wins with each other. So that's actually going to be next time. So Juliana, I hope that helps you and answers your question, and feel free to call me, and I'd love to talk further on it with you about that. But I think you're going to see through this program that change is possible, and that there are good environments out there, and you can create good environments. Okay, so we're going to now move on to the gifts. So the gifts is the basis to this entire program. And oh, Juliana, one more thing. You can make a difference. One person can make a difference, and I've seen it in the last boot camps that I've taught how one person in that boot camp made a decision and changed a whole unit. A couple of people have done that. So I hope you can be the next one to do that as well, because slowly but surely, one by one, this culture has to change. Okay, so back to the gifts. I gave you guys a worksheet because the gifts are easy to talk about, and in theory they sound great, but unless you're working them, they're not going to work. So that's your job during this week, is to fill out that worksheet. And if you want to go through it now while we're going through what the gifts are, that's great. Because I want you to see where you're not using your gifts, because that's when you set yourself up for getting in trouble or and not being fulfilled. So let's go through the gifts, and I'm going to tell you what they are and how they work. And you feel free to use the worksheet with you. If you don't have it for whatever reason, let me or Amanda know. We'll make sure you get it. And in this Nurses Lounge, we can post all kinds of communication, and you guys will be in there tomorrow. Okay, so the gifts. The gifts are an acronym for the G is for giving, I is integrity, F is focus and follow through, T is trust, and S is source. So I'm going to go through each of these gifts, and I want you to be thinking about which of the gifts aren't you using and how you can incorporate them into your practice. All right, so the G stands for giving, and giving, we are so, as nurses, you probably think, of course we're giving. Yes, we are. We're very giving to our patients. We will do anything for our patients. And that's why we're nurses, because we are givers. But the problem is two things. One is we give to everybody but ourselves, and we need to come first. If we don't take care of ourselves, we're not going to be able to take care of our patients. And in that situation that I told you about with that nurse who was working 172 hours in a pay period, was she taking care of herself? No. She was working like crazy. It was too much, and it was bound to lead to an error. And not only do we not give to ourselves, but we don't necessarily give to each other. And some of the things that nurses say to each other, it just floors me, because it just floors me because you wouldn't say that to a child. So why are you saying it to a fellow nurse, another human being? But yet they do that, and we allow it. So right here and right now, if you guys see any nurse abusing another nurse or bullying, say something. Because if you stand by and watch it and let it happen, or if you're the victim of it, you're allowing that cycle to perpetrate. And that's got to stop. So we need to be giving to ourselves, to our coworkers, and our patients. When I was in nursing, it would be like everybody would hurry up, finish their work, and then when they were done, they'd go out and ask other people for help if they needed help, if they felt like it. And if they didn't, they didn't. But what if everybody worked as a team and helped each other? And if you were more concerned about helping your coworkers get their work done and they were more concerned about helping you get your work done, it would work so much better. We'd get our work done much faster by having that mindset of let's just help everybody else. Think about it. If you wanted a cup of coffee and everybody was giving, you'd have 7 billion people in the world wanting to give you a cup of coffee. And it's just that little mindset shift. Not that I'm going to hurry up and get my work done and help everybody else. It's let's all help each other and get this done. But again, it's that mindset shift. And if everybody helps each other, everybody will have each other's back and work together. So the second area is I, and that's it. So actually go back to your sheet with the giving, sorry, and where aren't you being giving? And include yourself, of course, and include your coworkers. And how can you be more giving in your work this coming week? And just make a commitment to add that one little change to be more giving. Okay, so the I, we're going to move on to the I, and the I stands for integrity. And integrity is not just being honest and truthful, and that is important, like on your license renewals, and also, well, I'm getting great comments here. Thank you so much. Brenda says, frustration usually results when people don't value dedication. And again, that's the mindset. We got to get everybody on the same page with the packets, or I mean with the with dedication as one of the characteristics. And yeah, Maria says nurses sometimes eat their own, which is so true. And again, that's got to stop. So integrity is not just being honest on your license renewal. If it says if you've been disciplined in your capacity as a registered nurse, you've got to mark yes. I know a lot of nurses don't, and they hope that the board won't find out about it. But if they do, it's so much worse than being upfront. The board just wants to know you're safe. And then also, if you've been terminated from a position, a lot of nurses don't like to put that on their job application that they've been terminated. But again, if the board doesn't, if the board gets a copy of that, they're going to say you weren't honest in your on your job application. You misrepresented yourself in order to get a job. And we don't want to be seen as misrepresenting anything. Nurses are the highest, most trusted profession, and there's a reason for that. But unfortunately, nurses also sweep a lot of things under the rugs because they're afraid. They're afraid to say something. When I was working, there was a gentleman who had a colostomy hooked up backwards. So his distal end was had the ostomy, so obviously since it was a distal end, nothing was coming out. And his proximal end was sewed together in the abdomen. And they finally figured it out. But they said, you had a complication, we need to take you back to surgery. Well, hooking up a colostomy backwards is not a complication. It is flat out malpractice. But we weren't allowed to say anything. And so things get swept under the rug, and things get buried, things aren't charted. I know when state comes in, everything gets cleaned up. You're asked to fill in the holes in the chart, especially in nursing homes. But being in integrity means you don't do that. You've got to be honest. And when you're in integrity and in line with what matters to you, what your core values are, things work so much better. If you're not in integrity, and even if you're quiet about it, it eats away at you. That situation with that man with that colostomy still bothers me. And I was required to keep quiet about it. So, you know, these are tough questions that nurses need to deal with. And I really don't have all the answers, but I know that that I would definitely do things different now, and I would have said, I don't feel comfortable keeping quiet. This is something the doctors need to tell him and be honest with him. I don't know, but I know in other areas where I've been quiet, I would speak up now, and I know a way how to do that so that I can make more of an impact and do it with in a way that's going to help everybody and promote a win-win. And again, we'll talk about communication next week. And I hope you can communicate with me on the chat so you can be part of it. And Juliana said that used to be the way the night shift worked, but our day shift didn't seem to have that concept down. And that must be, helping each other and giving. And yeah, all team, whether you're coming or going, you're part of the same unit. It's a team. Okay, so integrity, again, being in line with your core values. So if your core values are to respect people, then if there's situations where you're not being respectful, you got to look at it. So a lot of this work in using the gifts is really creating that awareness in yourself so that you can make the change. Because if you don't know, you can't do anything. But now you guys know, and you know how important integrity is and why it's important. So you guys get to choose, if there's areas where you don't feel like you're in integrity, you get to change that. So focus and follow through. In my opinion, this is probably the area where the nurses get in the most trouble. It's, whatever it takes, no excuses. And the reason why focus and follow through is so difficult is because we're humans. And our mind goes on autopilot. How many times have you driven past your street because you were busy thinking about something? I don't think I'm the only one that does that. So focus and follow through really is a practice. If you are thinking about what's coming up or what happened, you're not being in the moment, and you're not being focused in what's happening right now. And this is the hardest programming to take, because to change. Because think about it. If we had to be conscious all the time, we'd have to be telling ourselves to breathe, telling ourselves to talk, telling our heart to beat, telling our blood to go to feed our muscles, and we just can't do that. So our mind does go on autopilot, and not just the autonomic stuff, but the sympathetic nervous system as well. We go on autopilot. But through the program, we're going to learn really to be very clear and very focused on what we're doing and present at that task in that moment. And you know what? When I learned this to be focused and present in the moment, I wound up having a whole lot more time. Have you ever had that experience where you were cleaning your house and you just got, well, maybe that's not probably a bad example for me, but doing something that you absolutely loved, and because I don't like cleaning the house, and it just took no time. You thought you'd be done in 3 hours, and man, you just zipped right through, and it took an hour and a half. That's because time is really a concept that we have in our head. And do you know sometimes like how you can't wait for something and it just takes forever? Again, that's because time is a concept. So when you're actually present in that moment, things don't take as long. There's a concept called the Peterson principle, or the Peterson law. And what that says is things takes as much time as you give it. So now I just give myself, okay, I'm going to pay bills. I say I'm going to spend a half hour and pay the bills and get it all done. And boom, it's done in a half hour. Whereas it used to take me, I hate paying bills, it used to take me a lot longer. So things take the time that you give it. So now we're going to do an exercise, and I know some of you have seen this before, so if you have, just be patient. I am going to put a slide on the screen, And this is to demonstrate how our mind goes on autopilot. And basically, I want you to count the number of F's in the sentence. So it says how many F's are there. That first F doesn't count, so don't count that one. But the sentence is, finished files are the result of years of scientific study combined with the experience of years. So how many F's are in this sentence, starting with the finished? How many F's? So you guys can text me your answers. Count the F's. Or put it in the chat box, and I think somebody can see it, except me. Okay, Juliana got 6. Wonderful. Melissa 6. Yay. Maria got 6. You guys are on this. Awesome. Well, normally people don't get all 6. And I guess maybe because I primed the pump by saying to be present and really conscious. But they miss the of, the 3 ofs, because our mind makes it seem like the of is a V and not an F. So we miss the F's. But you guys are awesome. You guys are right on there, getting all 6. So how about this one? Do you read I Love Paris in the Springtime? It actually says I love Paris in the springtime. So again, our mind misses the second the. We don't see it because of the our mind goes on that autopilot. So I'm going to do one more with you, and this is going to be a video, and you guys haven't seen this one before. So let's turn it back. Okay. Can you see me? Okay, great. You can't, Juliana can't see me? What are you seeing, Juliana? Melinda, good. Okay, so what color is this paper? What color is this paper? Yeah. I hope you're answering. Maria, oh yes, okay. What color is this paper? What color is this paper? What do cows drink? So you guys let me know what cows drink. Okay, Juliana figured it out. Okay, so those of you who said milk, that's the wrong answer. But you have the power of suggestion of the white paper in your mind. So our mind automatically goes to milk, but it's really water. So, so good job, you guys. But you can see how quickly our mind goes on that autopilot and how we could miss those subtle cues. And especially when it comes to a patient, we don't want to miss an F or the second the or the color of the paper, what cows drink, you know. So focus and follow through. So again, this week when you're going through your day, every time you're not thinking about what you're doing that minute and you're thinking about what's ahead or what happened, and I'm going to say a crude joke, but I'll do it. They always say that people who are having sex think about doing the laundry, and the people doing the laundry think about having sex. Because again, that's how our mind is. We're not thinking about what we're doing at that time. So really, this is going to be a practice for you to integrate this week and not think about sex. No, I'm kidding. Just think about what you're doing at the present moment. Okay, so that's the F. T is trust, and that is so important as a nurse. We've got to trust our gut. And if I've asked clients this before, you know, when you were in that situation, what was your gut telling you? And they will all say that, you know, their gut was saying this isn't a good situation, and they don't listen to it. And Juliana, that might help you with a job too, to trust your gut too. And your gut always knows. But we don't always listen. Our mind talks us out of it. So when we go see a patient, the patient doesn't look quite right and the vitals are fine, you're like, well, what am I going to tell the doctor? Or he's going to yell at me. And our mind talks us out of trusting our gut. So it's really important that that we trust our gut, and that's the T. So if there are situations where you don't feel like you're really getting in touch with your gut, and your gut knows, and your gut will really guide you. It's our mind that talks us out of it. So think through this week, listen to your gut. What's your gut telling you? And pay attention to it, and get it really in tune with your gut. Because all the gifts, all 5 of them have to be running. You got to go 5 for 5 with these gifts. Okay, so lastly, source. This is probably the most difficult concept for me to teach you, because source means that you are responsible. You are responsible for what's happening. You are responsible for the choices you make. You are responsible for everything that goes on, as I say, in your movie. So if you don't like what's in your movie, you get to do something about it. If you don't like where you're working, you get to do something about it. You're at choice. You might not like the choices, but you're at choice. And having that choice gives you freedom, because that's what we all want. We want freedom. So think about, and as nurses, we are so conditioned to blame everybody else. Oh, if the other shift had done their job, I wouldn't have had to do this. Or if they had just given me more staff, I would have been able to get out on time. Or, any time where we're making an excuse for what is happening, that's a red flag. Now, I'm not saying that you guys need to be at fault or blame for anything, because that doesn't serve anybody. But by being the source, you get to be, by being the source, you get to do something about it if things aren't right. So think about in your life, where are you giving your power away? Where are you feeling like you're not standing in your power? Where are you giving your power away by saying it's somebody else's fault? you know, or if I had this, it would have been okay, or if I had done that, or it, you know, anytime that you're making an excuse, it's really important that you stop and think and restate that. I created this situation. I get to do something about it, because that gives you your power back. So even though source is a difficult concept, it is the most important, because if you can get that and be the master of your own destiny, no matter what it is, it's amazing what will happen for you. So this week, I want you to use your gifts and fill out that little questionnaire so you can get conscious of what gifts you're not using and how you can incorporate them. And practice, practice, practice. When you're not thinking about your gifts, you know, when you're not thinking about what's happening in the moment, excuse me, then you know, just shift back. Okay, that's not important right now. What is happening right now? Because our life is just a bunch of experiences put together, and it's how we deal with those experiences at that time that makes life so fun. And so hopefully by living right in the moment and that being that focused, you might have more time to interact with your patient. You might have more get to experience the wonderful feeling of being with your family and that the joy that brings. By being focused and present in the moment, it will bring you so much joy in your life. And oh my gosh, I am loving all your comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Maria said, if I had a nickel for every time a doc yelled at me, absolutely. Stay loyal to yourself. Juliana, my gut was telling me something was wrong, and I was telling the provider, but no one was listening to me. We're going to change that. We're going to learn how to communicate so people listen. We're going to show up differently. We're going to show up powerful, and we're going to use all of our gifts. So, again, I'm just so honored and thrilled that you've joined me on this journey, and that's not part of it. We're all going to fly together. And be part of this flock, and we're going to all be here to support each other. Because why? Because we are all using our gifts for each other. We're going to be giving to each other. We're going to be in integrity with each other. We're going to stay focused and follow through with each other. We're going to trust our gut and trust each other. And we're also going to be the source and make this a phenomenal boot camp, because you guys are the ones who are going to be the leaders in our profession. To shift things, because it's just a process of shifting mindsets. That's it. And creating an environment where people can survive or thrive, not just survive. And it is totally doable. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for putting up with all the technical problems. Hopefully we'll get them fixed. Look for an email from me tomorrow. I'll make sure to give you that worksheet again if you don't have it. And I will also be sure to invite you to our private nurses lounge. If for some reason you feel uncomfortable introducing yourself, then put a fake name if you need to, if that makes you feel more comfortable. But if we're all operating from the gifts, we're all in integrity, this is going to be a very confidential, safe space for all of us to try on our gifts and use them so that we can all get the best results, because we're all going to support each other through this process. And for those of you I don't know, thank you again. Please reach out to me, call me. I'd love to connect with you and have a conversation, get to know you. I want to know what you want to get out of this boot camp. Because I want to meet your needs. That's important to me. I don't have a magic wand, but I will share everything I know with you. So again, thanks, and have a good night, and I really appreciate you being here. Bye.